So this is the Julian Assange rally, the 26th of June 2024. And yeah, he's in court currently at the moment in that island in America. I can't remember the name, I should know. But I thought there'd be a lot of people here, but there's just the usual small number. I just got to dodge the getting run over. But yeah, there's a handful. I thought it would kind of grow, being a special day today. Anyway, I'll go and say hello to the ones I know.
Supported the release of Julian Assange. Bravo! Bravo!
A day for the people!
A day for the people. We can't thank our government for what have done.
Oh, for the rats.
Happy days, free at last, thank God. Julian Assange is free at last.
And you've done so much for
And
him.
I mean, we're going back to, if we go back to 2010, December the 7th, which was when he was first detained. He spent 10 days in solitary confinement. Then from there, he went into house arrest for 18 months. From there, he sought asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy. And he was dragged out of that, as we know, on the 11th of April 2019. He spent 1,900 and a few days in solitary confinement, 22, 23 hours a day, locked in a concrete box the size of a bathroom. And he's been freed. He's done it. He's done this plea deal. He's got time served. Weeks.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so wonderful.
Just like
millions of people, just like me, just like all of us standing here. We are so thrilled. We could not be happier. This is a very sweet victory. But we're aware the war is not over. I repeat, the war is not over. But we're certainly going to celebrate this victory for at least a week.
So, Julian Assange, PM.
Thanks, lady.
Vote 1.
Good morning. The last time we are going to annoy the US Consulate, but maybe not. Maybe we'll be asking for a pardon and for compensation for Julian Assange. So this morning, in a tiny island about 4,000 kilometers from Australia, a judge, Ramona, has said the following about the plea of guilty to one charge that Assange has agreed upon. She says that, and I thought it was very interesting, Judge Ramona Manglona, she's read out the sentence, and she said that in her view, Assange should be released without any supervision immediately upon the settlement of the case, and it has happened already. And she also said that the maximum penalty for a matter like that would be 45 months Julian Assange has spent well over 62 months in prison. He should be compensated, but not only that, you know that the charge that he actually agreed upon is exactly the same as excellence in journalism. Nothing else. If I ask a journalist at the moment, what does it mean to you that Assange has pleaded guilty to this one charge? That journalist will have to say, that is exactly what I do for a living. It is exactly the work that a journalist does. So Julian Assange has pleaded guilty to excellence in journalism. That's it, nothing else. So the US has an empty victory, and the people in Assange walk out with a proud stance, with their head high and with full integrity. 80% of Australians support the release of Julian Assange, and it is because of that that our governments and our diplomats have actually got their heads together and assisted in arriving at this plea bargaining. So well done to Australians, well done to 80% of the community who supports Julian Assange. We're very proud of Julian. He has done a service to public opinion, to public information, and he has made us more aware of the crimes that are committed day in and day out by our government, but not in our names. Thank you for celebrating with us.
Hey!
Woo!
Well, certainly Julian Assange has paid for it. How much has he paid for it? 5, 10, 12, 14 years. 14 years he's paid for it. And how much more does he have to pay? Now he's called a criminal still. Our Julian Assange, our Australian, our brother, is a criminal in the eyes of the Americans. Well, I can tell you something. If they don't pardon him soon, we'll see America as the real criminal in this case. And we can see the boards on these windows here. Is it to keep people out or keep people in? We'll see over the next few weeks and months if they give him the pardon he deserves. He's negotiated his way out of a hellhole. He had to admit to something he didn't do. Is that the American way? Is that free speech? Is that your First Amendment? No, it's not. No, it's coercion. If you want to be free, you have to tell lies. And if you want to speak the truth, you have to go to jail for 5 years, 10 years, 12 years. How many other people are languishing in American prisons for speaking the truth? How many people are languishing in Australian prisons for telling the truth? We have Mr. McBride. Mr. McBride who talked about war crimes. We thought the Americans had the gold medal for war crimes. Well, this country deserves a silver medal. If America takes out the gold in the Olympic crimes division, then we will take the silver. And when we talk about it here, we're jailed. We have Mr. McBride in jail. 5 years. 5 years for talking about Australian war crimes. And not one American has been punished for the crimes that you've committed. Not one. Not one's been indicted for the crimes you've committed. Sinful. Sinful. Now, it's time to pardon our man, Julian. He's on his way home, as he should be, but he should never have been subjected to what you put him through, and his family through, and every Australian through. Australians don't deserve what you have done to them, and what you continue to do to us, to keep us in the dark and lead us into wars that which we don't belong in. Giving our youth, giving our children to your war machines. Well, it's over. Australia has woken up. The world is waking up. America, wake up. Thank you all. Hallelujah! Julian Assange is free! Free at last! 14 years! Outrageous! They bullied him into a plea deal. Outrageous! We will be celebrating, but we will be ready to return to the war that goes on against those who perpetrate war. The warmongers take note. We are taking no prisoners. Thank you.
And Gabriel in particular, you know, have done so much for Julian's release. But Julian, at the moment you are in Mariana Islands, and my heart won't be content until we see you here in Australia. Julian. Woohoo.
Welcome home, Julian.
Home at last, Julian.
Welcome home, Julian.
All about the peace train.
And his father, and Stella, and John.
Hi.
What happened today?
Thank you so much. She's better at public speaking than me.
Hey guys, Father Dave here, Cossack. Always good to be connected with you, brother. Today is a great day, the freedom of Julian. We've been leading, campaigning, shouting, weeping for years and years and years, quite literally. As I always say, the gospel writer says the light shines in the darkness has never put it out. We've kept that light shining, not just we here, but we around the world have kept that light for Julian shining, and his light continues to shine, the light of truth that shines on corruption in high places. And you know, Cossack's been bound up in that as well, trying to with his freedom of speech being curtailed, and we need to see him fully free as well. So God bless you, Cossack. God bless Julian. God bless all those who stand for truth. Amen.
Yeah, I'll do a little bit of a chat about the last day and what's going on now. It's about 25 past 11 on the 25th or the 26th. I think it's the 25th of June 2024. It is actually the 26th. And Julian Assange is currently in this island of the territory of the US and pleading guilty to one charge of espionage so he can be released, and he'll be flown back to Australia. So I'm heading over to North Sydney to the US Consulate, where they're having a I think apparently, I worked out last night when I spoke to my friend that it is a regular weekly one, but I didn't know about it. I popped up once before and saw it there, but I just thought that was a one-off. And then today's one is a special one-off, but apparently it's every week. So the better part, I put a little thing on my channel and perpetuated it, sent it out into the ether a bit and to other sites and everything. And so hopefully there'll be a few people there, and other people have. So it's a bit of it's got a little more publicity than the usual weekly one that no one knows about. It's like the Friday night ones. You go there, there's Tony and there's Ben and there's 4 or 5 other regulars, and that's kind of it. What was I going to say? So yeah, I'm going to that. But I wanted to say too, well, I'll see how that goes. But yesterday I went to the trans counter rally put on by Pride in protest against this girl, Chloe somebody or other, who is a detransitioner who's come out from America, brought out by the ACL, the Australian Christian League. He spoke really well, the Christian League guy that ran it. She spoke extraordinarily well, the girl. And then Dr. Amos something, he was the doctor about it. He spoke extremely well too. So that's when I went in afterwards. But outside at the protest, which started at Hyde Park, and before that I went and took some footage of Captain Cook's half-decapitated leg, where apparently the other day these two 27-year-olds all dressed in black and masks and everything, they rigged up some ropes and they climbed up. It's a very, very tall, high-up statue. And they started chopping off his leg, but the security guards had seen them. Oh fuck, I've gone the fucking wrong way because I was talking. Doesn't matter, I can just readjust it. I'll go to the next one, I think. But the security guards saw them, they called the cops, and the cops had arrested them, and they didn't give them bail, so they're locked up now for their troubles, and they're in jail, or in being held anyway. But then I walked on from that, and at the Hyde Park, I got there and I went, oh, where's this trans rally? I thought it was going to be gigantic. There's about 6 or 7 people, and then another 4 or 5 turned up. I think there was 11, and then they started the speeches, because it was supposed to be at 12. There was about 10 past 12. They kicked it off. 11 people there, maybe 10 and 11, including me. Fucking boss, she's just upset because someone's pulled out. He's gonna be just such lack of patience on people. He's fucking dumb. Idiot. And now he's cranky. Stupid bus driver. All that aside, and then I listened to the speeches, and it's like the guy running it was a man, but in a dress and black lace, and this black little short. It's cold. It's quite a bit of a cold day, and this tiny little short cut off top on, and this black lacy dress and trousers underneath, and just hair and kind of balding and makeup, and it's just like. Anyway, so I'm not going to say she, he was just rabbiting on and trying to get people to speak, and nobody wanted to. And then there's Damien, who's the sex worker, not sex workers. He's so funny. They love to insist on you using the right pronouns, but they can't get the plurals right, because they and their and them are the wrong plural for that, wrong plural set of pronouns for a single person, for a singular. But he's Vietnamese, and he's been here for a few years, but he cannot get his S's. I just feel like saying, if it's more than one, put an S, because he never uses the H. It's always singular. Everything is always singular. Anyway, so the sex worker, meaning all the sex workers, what are he's saying? They're all, they're under attack, and there's a colonial state, and the Australians are racist, and they have this, they got the worst. The victim mentality through this group of people is insane. It just goes on and on and on. They are victims of absolutely everything. But my main thought I wanted to get to is, it's such a tiny little part of society. It's a small little 10 people turned up for their big rally against this, this TERF. A TERF is a trans exclusionary radical feminist. So that's a woman who doesn't believe that a man is a woman. So they're a radical feminist. But if you're a woman that believes a woman is a woman and a man is a man, you're a radical feminist. You're a TERF, because you're excluding trans women from the equation. And it's always about trans women. It's very, very little about trans men. Occasionally, there was a trans man who spoke. And then anyway, so they had a little bit of crapping on. A couple of people spoke, and then they marched to the state parliament, which is, it's just hop, skip, and a jump. And there is the only time I will say she is, there's a trans person, Dana, who was there getting some footage by Chris Coveries, was sort of filming her. I thought Chris would be there. I hadn't seen him, but then I saw him filming her. But she stands off to the side, and she has a little sign, which I filmed. I can't remember now. It's a conservative. She's a conservative type person. But they went ahead. She kind of follows on the side as the march goes, and I would say hello to her, and I will say her to her, because I'm just being nice. But she's a man. I think she understands. She's a man dressed up as a woman in a dress, but I will say she, just to be nice. And then Chris was there filming, and then it went up to the front of the parliament, and then they had a few signs, a few TERFs big on, TERFs get off our turf, and just other signs, and rainbows and other different flags. I didn't quite know what they were. Purple hair, green hair, orange hair, all young. Nobody over about 25, I wouldn't think. Maybe Yeah, no, maybe one guy was maybe in his 30s. The rest of them all under in 25 or so. And then the next, the trans man or the woman that spoke, because there's this, it came and stood next to me while they were waiting to go up and speak. I just thought they were moving to get closer, but I was thinking, fuck, that's just a very butch-looking dyke. You know, I just thought that is an extraordinarily butch-looking dyke, very fat and chubby and big-hipped, and just masked on, so I didn't really know what she looked like. But then she gets up and says, you know, I use him, he pronouns, and I'm a trans man. I thought, oh, far out, no, oh, it's okay. But anyway, so then it got quite erratic, and it's like, you know, this is a major mental health issue. It's like it's like when you see someone in the street ranting and screaming and carrying on who's got some completely severe mental health issues. That's the kind of person that is. And then, you know, she's probably been on the hormones and the this and the that, and she was sort of, you know, all the, but she's so happy. She's saying, oh, she's, you know, never regretted transitioning, but she's, you know, just about to commit suicide last year, and you know, it's not a good life. It's a fuck life, really. Anyway, so that she spoke, and then some other, back at the Hyde Park, one of the Greens senators came out and spoke, she kind of goes to all these things. She does a little speech, and then she fucks off. She goes, oh, I got to go now, and she leaves. You know, and the speech is always the same. She's against everyone else in the parliament, and they want the self-ID to be allowed, which means you can go in at any age and change your ID from, you know, Mr. John Smith to Miss Jane Smith, or they Whoop Smith, or whatever you want to do. You know, they want that allowed, and I think it's being held up, and they're with the conversion therapy, which is really just, you're not allowed to try and talk someone out of transitioning. They don't want kids should be able to come out at school and then the parents not know, and all these things. That's what they want, all that shit. And nobody else wants it. And I worked out yesterday, like I said, there's this tiny fraction of the community. Anyway, so that was all done. They had the rest of the speeches, and more, you know, arcane garbage came flowing, and the person running is, oh, I'm so tired, you know, it's so early, and, you know, they just none of them would work. They're all on the dole. They're all on the NDIS, probably, I would think. They're all there, middle of the day on a weekday. Everyone's there. It's not affecting them too much, other than making them get up a bit earlier than 2 p.m. I sound like such a fucking asshole. And then I went inside the Parliament House, and I was quite, look, I'd never been in before. And you have to go through a check, you know, the metal detector and all that. And I just went in and said, can I go in there? It's open to public. Just wander into the room. And I went to the Jubilee room, and there was this, you know, the people were speaking. There was the Dr. Amos when I went in. It was, oh shit, nearly went to the wrong corner again. It was the wrong, I nearly went to the wrong spot. It was, he was speaking first when I got in, but it was getting up to the question time. So they'd done their speeches and everything, and they went to the questions. So I missed a lot of it because I was out there with the crazies. And yeah, it was very interesting to hear. She spoke really well. She's very, very attractive. The photo that in the on her material, or the material that the Australian Christian League used, doesn't do her justice. She's quite a very attractive young lady, but she's as flat. She's had a double mastectomy. So at 13, she transitioned, and then at 15, she had a double mastectomy. Can you imagine that? Like, both her breasts cut off for life, gone now at 15. And it's like, that's what these people want. They say you're allowed. And when I talked to my friend last night, she goes, oh, there's a little boy at school, and he knew when he was 5. No, I mean she, because everyone's accepting her now that she's 7 and transitioned at school, and you know, so she's all, it's like, you know, it's not fair if you hadn't done it, blah, 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 on and on and on. I'm thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, people only attach to these things when they have a connection. And they're, park there, so half an hour. If they have this connection, then they will attach to it somehow and recognise it. I said, it's because, you know, your brother's gay and he's got a husband and all this stuff, so you're involved in all that, and you're, you know, you do see it as legitimate and all these things. I had a chat with her, but that's all that side. And so anyway, in the room, they started talking. Yeah, they had the questions, and it was like sensible talk. It was like going from crazy land to sensible town, where these people just spoke normally, efficiently with their words, and intelligently, and the outside was just, except for the, you know, the only sort of one that spoke reasonably well, not reasonably well, but none of them did really, but the Green senator, who's a practiced speaker, whereas the other ones said, oh, I've never had to speak before, and other stuff like that. Where am I going to park? I'm trying to find a spot for Assange, but I draw half an hour spots and got to pay. At least only a fucking hour and you still got to pay. So it's not really much better. Anyway, we'll push on. I guess it's North Sydney. I'm not going to find a park, am I really? Within Kui. So that's so that was it. And then I had a bit of a chat with Ben, who was filming for Chris Coveries, and yeah, he was telling me about his project. He's trying to. Oh, this is all 2p here, 2p, but 2p untimed, but there won't be there's no chance of finding a spot at all, because you can have a ticket to be there as well. Oh, that's 1p untimed. I wish it was longer. I'll just take that. Well, you trying to get that, love? Sorry about that. Too slow. You snooze, you lose. So I get to try and go for 2p. Yeah, I'll keep trying for 2p. Oh, these are even. These are just complete. Oh no, half an hour. Yeah, these assholes will be onto it too, I reckon. Oh man, I had a 1p. I should have just gone there. It's too early though. It's only 11:36 and I've got to be there. It starts at 12. I'm going fucking miles away. How am I going to find my way back? Blah blah. Sort of ranting like a madman. This is a dead end. I did say no through road. Bye. Alright, yeah, well, okay, so that's about it. Don't know what else to say really other than that. That's kind of it. Yeah. Alright. Good luck.